Men of Reddit, what are some telltale signs that a woman is creepy? If she doesn't ask me many questions or doesn't seem interested in my life. Girlfriend was practicing her signature and asked if she could see mine. Innocent enough, right? I rattle off a few beautiful Johnny Hancocks on a napkin. And beyond admiring my own handiwork, don't think of it any further. Fast forward a week, and she says, check out my new tattoo. Sure enough, it's my signature, first name only, on her right, or wrong? Hip. Yikes. Fast forward to her solo European trip. Turns out she cheated on me with a guy with the same first name. Bet he was scared. This girl I met on Tinder had me take her out to a restaurant and then switch tables with her friend. They had been on blind dates and decided to switch. Her friend was not as attractive and I was very uncomfortable. After ordering my food, I went to the bathroom for 10 minutes to contemplate my exit strategy. When I got back, they had both left. The other guy asked if he could sit with me, so we had dinner and he ate his date's enchiladas. My ex would freak out and throw things and scream at me. That's not the disturbing thing. She would f***ing forget about it, hit reset and act like it didn't happen the next day. Over and over. I started filming her episodes to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy. That's called gaslighting. It's a form of emotional abuse and I most often see people who are very insecure deep down use it. When after 2 days she tells you she loves you. And also proceeds to mention that she loves your green eyes so much that if we ever broken up she would steal them while you sleep and keep them in a jar in her room. Or where are my f***ing keys? She'll joke about having kids before you're even in a serious relationship. I went on a couple dates with this one girl who had mentioned how much she wanted kids. Nothing unusual. Pretty common actually. I'm looking forward to being a dad one day. Then she started sending me those weird things where you put two people's pictures together and see what their kids would look like. One time would be quirky, but she sent me a different one every morning for a week. Broke it off when I realized I hadn't even given her a picture of myself. Edit. The only social media I have is Reddit. Oh, that last sentence was like a horror movie, lol. She dyes her hair every color of the rainbow just to see how you'd react. Tells your family to back off because you are hers. Cheats with her male roommate while you run out to the car to grab a red box. Gives you herpes. FCKU Rachel. Inability to apologize for anything ever. Punishing you. Silent treatment for doing something you had no idea would be offensive to them. Having expectations of you that they don't try to meet themselves. In high school there was a girl who liked me. She ended up carving my name into her foot. Solomid. Edit. Holy crap, thanks for the gold. You rule and thanks for the cool comments. Totally made my day. Shout out to Herm the Verm. I had a girlfriend who yelled at me for spending $9,000 on my mountain bike instead of on her. I race professional and I took her out to dinner at least 3 times a week and got her gifts all the time. Plus we got to travel the world thanks to sponsors. But the one purchase for myself was too selfish. Date. Literally my roommate's girlfriend. He takes her out to dinner 3+ times per week. Travels 50 miles every week back and forth to visit her at school. Buys her jewelry and nice things, etc. Yet the one time he couldn't make it to her school for a visit, she called him to scold him for his selfishness and then broke up with him via text. The saddest part is that he drove all the way to her school that night to talk to her about it. And she fell asleep before he arrived, and so he had to sleep in a parking lot in his car overnight until she woke up. Somehow they're still together. Makes me mad because he deserves so much better. Edit. Tighty whities stapled to her wall as conquests. I've seen it. It's out there. Talks about all the health ailments she thinks or is convinced she has. And then continues to consume foods which she claims she is extremely allergic to or that wreaking havoc on her health. And holy fuck. As I was typing this, a text from her came in telling me about some random health ailment She goes through your drawers when you're sleeping. My cat used to do that. I used to always wake up to socks all over my bedroom and have no idea why. Finding her collection of hair. I'm quite literally attached to mine. Outright refusing to believe that a guy might not be into her advances. I've seen a woman stare in bewilderment at her boyfriend after he had to repeatedly remove her hand from his crotch because she couldn't comprehend that he didn't feel like getting felt up in a public area. I've also had a woman, middle-aged, throw a tantrum because I wouldn't buy her a drink when I, 22 at the time, was at a bar, while I was with my parents and some visiting family members. 60. I've posted this before. Boo it. A long time ago in the 90s I was set up on a blind date. The girl knew way too much about me. She knew my brother's names, where I grew up, and other personal stuff you'd have to dig a little to find out. This was pre-Facebook. And back in the 90s she would have had to ask people who actually knew me to find out. She was just a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. So I noped out of that one pretty quick. Later, I asked the people who had set up the date what the hell etc. And turns out the girl had had this super long crush on me and was reportedly devastated that I wasn't into her. Luckily I steered clear of that possible Stephen King novel scenario. When she has decided you are her best friend after being around you for an hour. Humble brag. A girl I befriended in college seemed pretty cool at first, but I quickly learned she had huge attention-seeking problems. I took her to a party where she was all over me, arm in arm, holding my hand everywhere we went. I wasn't allowed to be alone. When I was talking to another pair at the party, a couple at that, she kicked it up a notch, trying to kiss and be cuddly and whatnot. I was fine with it at the time because, hey, she sees nice. She's cute. A little intense. But could be misreading it. But I was certainly into her. It was kinda nice being the target of someone else's affection like this. After the party I walked her back to the dorm and she very informatively told me not to try anything because she had a boyfriend. Bonus. Same girl a few weeks later told me that if I had really wanted to sleep with her I shouldn't have told her I was straight because she can't help but turn men. A girl wanted to date me and she told me how she climbed in her ex's second story window to argue with him. No thanks. When she blatantly says it's not our pay when it happens to men. If they never blink then something's up. If they have a kid and immediately try and make you the kid's dad. Get the FCK out. I'm looking for a real man who can love me and my 3 kids. When they know more about your errands than what you told her. Extra creepy point is she becomes angry when you deviate from your initial daily plans. Extra creepy points if she starts angrily texting you when you change your plans as your day is unfolding. Thanks for caring for me guys. Hopefully this is not a situation I'm currently or have been in. While I do have an ex both girlfriend then friend which ended up to be a very toxic person for me and I'm still have some mild trust issues because of it. This is not the kind of stuff she would pull of. Well, she did stalk me on some chat room. I was a regular with a fake persona and it should have been a wake up call for me to run very far away. It didn't and we ended up hurting each other a lot afterwards. When she is a colleague from work and she turns up at the gym coincidentally 5 minutes after you have arrived and she's in a low cut top and starts laughing and touching your arms and bending over and just generally being weird. Especially when she knows that you have a wife and kids and this 45-minute session is the only piece you get 3 times a week. I'm a girl. Second date is to a federal prison to visit her son that's doing life for murder. Later saying the phone she snuck in her cooch made her too sore for sex tonight. In my experience. Constantly talking about how people don't get them. I'm a girl and I'll add to this that any girl who has several ex-best friends all related to some sort of drama. Or constantly says how she hates drama is very likely the root cause of that drama. I had a boss who acted like I could do no wrong. She praised me and thought I was the best. Then one day like a switch she turned on me. She acted like I was the spawn of Satan. I don't know how I didn't lose my job. Somehow I weaseled my way out of that mess. Then I noticed she does the same thing with all her new men employees. I don't take well to obsessive praise anymore after her. Edit. I just want to thank all the people who replied in the upvotes. You guys are awesome and why I love Reddit. I actually started studying psychology because of that women. I am currently studying Eastern philosophy. There was a lot more to her behavior than what I wrote above, which includes a shit ton of gaslighting and cognitive dissonance. Her behavior is textbook borderline personality disorder. My advice to anybody who thinks you may be stuck with a cluster B individual would be to work on yourself. There is nothing you can do for them. IDK about creepy, but I avoid a woman like the plague if she shares posts about being a psycho-winaholic chicken nugget addict. It's not endearing to be controlling or an annoying drunk. She's hot but still interested in you. All of your conversations about your potential future together start with when we, instead of if we, when we get married, when we have kids, etc. She knows where you are and who you're with all the time. She creates new memories of you two together by cutting and pasting together old photos. She asks you your sign, then giggles, gives crazy eyes. When she knew the barracks I was staying at just by a selfie alone even though I was on the other side of the country at the time. She never served. And she has never been to that area before. That phone call got real awkward. An all-consuming obsession with horses. An inability to live her life as it is now. Instead being laser focused on getting a husband and then having children. I'm not talking about normal long-term goals here. I mean a single girl who's always talking about finding her husband and having kids. When the proper next step is finding a boyfriend. The step after that being engagement. Then marriage. Then having children. FWIW. Every girl I've known who is like this has also lived rent-free with parents. Which tends to limit one's romantic opportunities. YMMV. Of course. Horse women are just cat ladies with money. This one is a mixed bag. But demanding to have access to your phone. Social media accounts. Et al. I feel people deserve some privacy, yes. Oxymoron as I'm referring to social media. As their phone's accounts can be a direct line to their inner thoughts. People used to keep their inner thoughts, you know, in their head. If they feel the need to confirm via your phone accounts you are A, not cheating, and B, not saying anything they would take offense to. I would look for the door, kick them to the curb, definitely not marry them. Edit. When you go over to her house late at night and she guides you through her pitch black house to a room full of Disney dolls and acts like that is normal. The last thing the man heard was the faint whisper, gosh. She asks what your religion is. And when you give an answer different than hers you hear her mutter, we could work on that. Happened to me. She was a weekly churchgoer and I'm atheist. Oh yes. I had an absolutely gorgeous Southern Baptist girl in college take a liking to agnostic atheist me. It didn't last long, especially after she partied too hard. Overslept and missed a final and failed a class and just said oh well. It's part of God's plan. Full stop. Full stop. And carried on like nothing happened. I don't want any part of that level of a lack of personal responsibility. Full stop. Full stop. I don't think people are answering this correctly, as the question asks how to tell if a girl is creepy. Not crazy. A friend of mine had a girlfriend that had a huge foot fetish and was with him. Later this came to light, because he had nice looking feet for a guy. He broke it off because he found some Tupperware with toenail clippings and names taped to each of the Tupperware in her apartment. Guys' names. His name was on one. Calling up to my job and saying she's my wife and she's trying to get a hold of me. We had 2 dates, Linda. I didn't even FCK you. But you're f***ing crazy. Leave Emmy alone, Linda. WHOTF is even named Linda anymore. Long black fingers with heavily pointed fingernails. Arched back at the neck with eyes as black as pitch. Mouthless face. Matted hair. Pungent scent. Speaks telepathically through visual symbols. Carries a belt of skulls and only appears after dark. Sounds hot. Got a phone number for this cutie? Golden rule for avoiding the stalker Y types of people in general. If they're moving faster than you're comfortable with, and don't like it when you try to slow down, then back out. Nothing good comes from forcing a relationship. Well, my go-to one was when she cut herself. Proceed to then draw pentagrams on the walls with her blood trying to summon demons. Then proceeded to huff fly spray. To top it off, when her mum tells you to save her little girl. Yeah. But the SX was top notch and she was really ridiculously good looking. So, yeah. She had that going for her. Always going on about how every situation in life is unfair to them, from their parents, to their job, to any of their long-term friends. At first it's like, oh, how sad that this happened. I'm sure you'll have a better day tomorrow to actually thinking you're talking to a conspiracy theorist. Routinely posting on social media about heartbreak and how they've been let down too many times even though they were only in one long-term relationship. If she calls you multiple times per day every day for no FCKing reason, I'm not going to armchair psychiatrist it, but it's f-king weird and in my experience a solid indicator of much bigger issues. Ring ring. Me. Hello. Huh? Hi. Silence. Huh? What's up? Me. Nothing new in the last 2 hours. Silence. Huh? Cool. Silence. Me. Thinking, why the FCK are we having this conversation? If she has cuties. When she starts planning your life together after the first date, or if she starts bombarding you with gifts. Also take note of whether or not she has close friends. Usually the crazy ones don't. Oh, and if she ever shows up at your house uninvited in the middle of the night, run or move. When she starts asking what you're doing every day over social media. Joke's on her. I don't use social media. Number of cats above 2 increases creepiness x10 for each cat. If she gets real clingy real fast, run. When she was surprised that I didn't like watching her flirt with guys to get free drinks. Like, hey, I'll buy your damn drinks. No need nibble on that dude's ear for a vodka tonic. Not necessarily creepy, but just weird and annoying is when a girl, or guy, denies widely accepted scientific facts. Like they just outright believe evolution or climate change is a lie. It irks me when a girls will just say some bullshitty reason why we aren't cousins to a monkey. Science illiteracy is a deal breaker for me. That thing where her head spins in a 360 feet circle and she vomits green slime into your mouth to possess you. You know? That's just a super creepy thing that turns me off from a girl. Don't kink shame. She got no legs. When she's horny, she's leaving a trail just like a slug. I once went out with a girl with no legs. We went to dinner and then to the ocean, where we went out on the pier to watch the stars and listen to the waves. As our conversation became more intimate, she told me without hesitation that she had never been FK'd. I knew she was ready for something to happen. I picked her up out of her wheelchair and placed her on the railing of the pier where I could look in her eyes. I then pushed her off and into the ocean and yelled down to her, "Now you're FK'd." Edit. For being stupid, thanks for pointing it out, Half Dead Moon. Please give up votes to Half Dead Moon. I was in the wrong. Criminal record for fraud. Hides Facebook profile. Says it's because of unwanted messages. Really means it's because engagement photos are online. Won't pick up the phone but will send dozens of texts at midnight about how inappropriate something was. Watch how they treat the common person. Are they rude to waiters waitresses over something petty? Maybe they got the wrong drink or something and they overreact. See how they do in a day-to-day annoyance and that'll give you a good idea of how they are normally. I have developed a foolproof method for determining if a woman is creepy or not. If she's willing to talk to me for more than 45 seconds, she is one creepy bitch. If she's Mormon, run for the hills, ma dudes. I had a girl who I didn't even know. She somehow got my Snapchat. Start snapping me some pretty Zul stuff. When I told her I wasn't cool with it, she started saying stuff like you're a guy. OFC, you're cool with it, and getting pretty aggressive.